Did you know that only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions? That means 92% of us struggle to stay motivated long enough to reach our goals. But what if I told you that motivation isn't about willpower or waiting for the right moment? What if you could master your motivation and unlock your full potential? That's exactly what Thibaut Meurisse's audiobook, Master Your Motivation, is all about. Stick around, because today, I'm going to break down the key insights from this game-changing book that will help you take control of your motivation and achieve your dreams. Motivation is the driving force behind every success story. Whether it's starting a business, getting in shape, or learning a new skill, motivation is what keeps us moving forward. But let's be honest, staying motivated isn't always easy. Life gets busy, distractions creep in, and before we know it, we're stuck in a rut. That's where Master Your Motivation comes in. Thibaut Meurisse, a renowned author and productivity expert, dives deep into the science and psychology of motivation, offering practical strategies to help you stay focused, overcome obstacles, and achieve your goals. So, if you're ready to stop waiting for motivation to strike and start creating it, let's dive in. Let's face it, we've all been there. You set a goal, you're excited about it, and you start strong. But then, life happens. Maybe you procrastinate because the task feels too big. Maybe you lose sight of why you started in the first place. Or maybe you just feel overwhelmed by all the things you should be doing. Motivation isn't a constant. It ebbs and flows, and that's completely normal. But the problem is, most of us don't know how to reignite that spark when it fades. We rely on external factors like deadlines or pressure from others to push us forward. And while that might work in the short term, it's not sustainable. Thibaut Meurisse explains that the real challenge isn't a lack of motivation, it's a lack of understanding. We don't know how motivation really works, so we end up chasing quick fixes that don't last. But what if you could tap into a deeper, more reliable source of motivation? What if you could learn how to stay driven, even when the going gets tough? That's exactly what Master Your Motivation teaches you. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Thibaut Meurisse breaks down motivation into 3 core pillars: clarity, strategy, and action. These pillars form the foundation of his approach, and they're packed with actionable insights. Let's explore each one in detail. Clarity. Clarity is all about knowing your why. The first step to mastering your motivation is understanding why you want to achieve something. Meurisse emphasizes that without a clear purpose, your motivation will fizzle out. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal because it sounded good, but deep down, you weren't really connected to it? To build clarity, ask yourself, what do I truly want? Why is this important to me? How will achieving this goal improve my life? Meurisse suggests writing down your answers and revisiting them regularly. This creates a strong emotional connection to your goal, which fuels your motivation even when challenges arise. For example, let's say your goal is to lose 20 pounds. If your why is simply to look better, that might not be enough to keep you motivated when cravings hit or when you're tired after a long day. But if your why is to have more energy to play with your kids, to improve your health so you can live a longer, happier life, or to feel more confident in your own skin, those reasons are much more powerful. They tap into your core values and give you a compelling reason to stay on track. Meurisse also introduces the concept of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's driven by personal satisfaction, curiosity, or a sense of purpose. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, comes from external rewards like money, recognition, or praise. While both types of motivation can be effective, intrinsic motivation is far more sustainable because it's tied to your inner desires and values. Start by aligning your goals with your values. Ask yourself, what matters most to me in life? How does this goal reflect my values? What kind of person do I want to become? When your goals are aligned with your values, you'll find it much easier to stay motivated, even when the journey gets tough. The second pillar is strategy breakdown. Once you're clear on your why, the next step is to create a roadmap. One of the biggest motivation killers is feeling overwhelmed by the size of a goal. Meurisse recommends breaking your goal into smaller, manageable steps. For example, if your goal is to write a book, don't focus on the entire manuscript. Start with an outline, then write one chapter at a time. Celebrate small wins along the way. This keeps your motivation high and builds momentum. Meurisse introduces the concept of micro-goals, which are tiny, achievable steps that move you closer to your larger goal. The key is to make these steps so small that they feel almost effortless. For instance, if your goal is to exercise regularly, start with just 5 minutes a day. Once that becomes a habit, gradually increase the time. Another key strategy is to eliminate distractions. Meurisse highlights the importance of creating an environment that supports your goals. Whether it's decluttering your workspace, turning off notifications on your phone, or setting boundaries with your time, small changes can make a big difference. Thibaut. He also emphasizes the importance of planning for obstacles. Let's face it, challenges are inevitable. But if you anticipate them and have a plan in place, you'll be much better equipped to handle them. For example, if you know that you tend to lose motivation when you're tired, plan to tackle your most important tasks in the morning when your energy is highest. The last and the most important step is build habits. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Meurisse explains that waiting for motivation to strike is a losing game. Instead, focus on building habits that align with your goals. Start small. If you want to exercise regularly, commit to just 10 minutes a day. Over time, those small actions add up, and your motivation will grow as you see progress. Meurisse also emphasizes the power of consistency. Even on days when you don't feel like taking action, showing up builds discipline and reinforces your commitment. He introduces the concept of habit stacking, which involves linking a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you want to start meditating, you could do it right after brushing your teeth in the morning. By piggybacking on an existing habit, you make it easier to remember and stick to the new one. Another powerful technique is visualization. Spend a few minutes each day imagining what it will feel like to achieve your goal. Picture yourself crossing the finish line, receiving that promotion, or fitting into those jeans. Visualization not only boosts motivation, but also helps you stay focused on your goal. Meurisse also discusses the importance of self-compassion. It's easy to beat yourself up when you fall short of your goals, but that only drains your motivation. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. Thank you for listening so far. Here are some bonus tips just for you. Leverage accountability. Share your goals with a friend or join a community of like-minded individuals. Accountability increases your chances of staying on track. Reframe your challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, view them as opportunities to grow. This mindset shift can turn setbacks into stepping stones. Celebrate progress. Take time to acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. This reinforces positive behavior and keeps you motivated. Here's the most powerful insight from Master Your Motivation, the moment that can completely shift how you think about motivation. Motivation is a skill, not a feeling. Most of us treat motivation like it's something that happens to us. We wait for it to magically appear, like a burst of inspiration or a sudden wave of energy. But Thibaut Meurisse flips this idea on its head. He explains that motivation isn't something you passively wait for, it's something you actively create. Have you ever noticed that once you start taking action, even if you didn't feel like it at first, your motivation starts to grow? For example, Maybe you didn't feel like going to the gym, but once you got there and started moving, you felt energized and glad you showed up. Meurisse calls this the action-motivation cycle. It's a positive feedback loop where taking small, consistent steps builds momentum, and that momentum fuels your motivation to keep going. The more you act in alignment with your goals, the more motivated you'll feel to continue. You don't have to wait until you feel motivated to start. In fact, waiting for motivation is one of the biggest mistakes people make. Instead, you can create motivation by simply taking the first step, no matter how small. This insight is a game changer because it puts you in control. Instead of being at the mercy of your feelings, you can take intentional action to create your own motivation. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions, it's about starting where you are and building from there. Meurisse also shares a powerful metaphor to drive this point home. Motivation is like a fire. If you wait for the fire to start on its own, you might be waiting forever. But if you take the time to gather kindling, strike a match, and nurture the flame, you can create a fire that burns brightly and sustains itself. Thibaut Meurisse's message is clear. Motivation isn't about waiting for the right moment or relying on willpower. It's about understanding how motivation works and using that knowledge to take control of your life. By mastering your motivation, you can achieve your goals, overcome challenges, and create the life you truly want. Thanks for listening. If you found these insights helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know what's one goal you're working on right now. And if you're ready to dive deeper into personal development, check out my video on Atomic Habits by James Clear. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on actionable tips to level up your life. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and stay motivated.